Guys, welcome back. Which microphone should you use for podcasting or live streaming? This is the question that's even a little bit hard to answer for me because there's simply so many microphones out there. But today we're gonna review a USB microphone from Beyerdynamic, a little bit more high-end microphone, the Beyerdynamic Fox Professional USB Studio Microphone. And maybe you have noticed in the past I mostly focused on XLR microphones. Usually I'm the XLR microphone guy. I prefer these XLR microphones. But since some of my viewers don't want to get all this additional audio gear like XLR microphone and the cables and such, viewers literally ask me, okay, what's about USB microphones? Because they usually tend to be much easier to handle simply because you don't need all this separate gear with a USB microphone. You're saving a lot of space on your desk. It's easier to transport because who would have thought it's just one cable, you plug it into your computer and you're ready to record your vocals, podcasting or live streaming, or even make YouTube videos such as me. Primarily, I guess if you do YouTube, that would be for screen recordings. And what I also saw that people do this YouTube live. So that's like a Google Hangout kind of thing that they record. And obviously, if you have a lot of gear, usually my usual setup is the dynamic mic, the preamp, the audio interface. You have 3 components, and with the USB mic, you really cut it down to one component only. So that really gives you a lot more portability. If you're on the road a lot, you can just connect this to your notebook. In any case, like you see right now, this is the introductory part. Next up, I'm going to do an unboxing of this large diaphragm condenser mic. The Beyerdynamic Fox is a condenser mic and it can even record in 24 bits. So that should be awesome. And that would also be one thing that I think if you have a more affordable, let's say you have a budget USB mic, it probably won't have the 24-bit resolution when recording. A lot of budget gear, whether it's budget audio interfaces or the budget USB mics, they usually only come with 16-bit, and I think 24-bit is going to sound a lot better, especially if they used higher quality components inside this mic, because that's also a thing. If it's a USB mic, you have to keep in mind everything is super small and compact, so you just don't have as much space as compared to, let's say, a more traditional setup where you have a preamp and an audio interface. See how much space there's with the preamp and then how much space is in the audio interface. So there is really a lot of space to put components in there, as opposed to the USB microphone. There you have less space, so you have to put everything, the analog to digital converter, everything, you have to put it in a much more condensed space. But guys, without further ado, let's jump to the unboxing. I'll show you a few close-up shots, show you what's inside the box, and then you can always use the navigation in the video description below. There are these timestamps. You can just click on these timestamps and also jump directly to the sound test, because I'm going to compare the Beyerdynamic Fox against some other microphones. So you get a little bit of a comparison. How does the USB mic sound versus how does the microphone sound with the more traditional setup that needs more components on your desk. So let's get rolling with the unboxing, guys. So guys, now in part 2, we're gonna have a closer look at the Beyerdynamic Fox USB microphone. And like I said, I'm super excited because it's 24-bit, and I think I never had like a high-end USB microphone like this before. So I'm really curious to see what this sound quality is. So let's get this box outside here. You see it says Professional Studio Microphone, and we're gonna explore what we can find inside that package. First of all, some marketing material. Follow the Fox. It's kind of interesting, guys. I studied overseas for a while. I spent some time in Japan, and in Japan I think they believe the Fox can magically transform or something like this. I don't remember the exact story anymore, but kind of interesting. They decided to market this as Fox microphone, and from what I can see, it's really nice build quality. So let's zoom in a little bit here so you get a close-up shot of this USB microphone. It comes with these nice accessories, and I also love the way they designed this cable. So it seems to be a lot of a theme with a lot of manufacturers, that they put an emphasis also on how stuff looks, because it's just pleasing to the eye, you know, if everything is like quality materials and color coded. So let's take the mic out, and I have to say, build quality wise, makes a really good impression. I mean, it's really interesting the way this looks. So maybe zoom out a little bit, and then I can show this to you a little bit further. What I like is that you have a dedicated mute button just right on the front. I think that should be a LED that illuminates. So that comes in quite handy. Let's say you have a roundtable discussion, or you do a podcast or live stream, and for some reason you want to mute yourself, you can do that right here. Then the sensitivity is controlled right below that. Volume, excuse me, it's not the sensitivity. The sensitivity of the mic is on the back. You have two settings here, high and low. But I mean, the output volume probably, some people like to listen to themselves while they talk. They like to hear the sound of their own voice over the headphones. You can supposedly do that here, which is also kind of useful. And yeah, I mean, it looks really nice quality. USB connector is here, and then that's where you connect the microphone stand. How good the microphone stand is, I'm not really sure. That seems to be, I think the main issue is like if I put that on there, it's just going to be too low. I mean, for my taste, it's just going to be right on the table. And yeah, this mechanism right here, yeah, you can tilt it eventually, but from what I've seen, it's just that microphone is heavy. So the further you tilt it, the higher the likelihood that this microphone will just be too heavy for the small stand. So you're probably only going to use it in a somewhat upright position. And then I can quickly show this to you here. So if you put it right on the desk, the distance from your voice to the microphone obviously is a little bit further. So what I'm going to do, instead of using the included microphone stand, I'm gonna probably gonna put this on my other microphone stand, which I can also overlay a picture right here so that you see how this looks when it's installed on my normal microphone stand. So keep that in mind. If you don't have a microphone stand already, you might want to get one, because this is more like, I mean, I could see where this comes in handy. I mean, if you're traveling, for example, with a notebook or something, then you don't obviously want to carry a big microphone stand or one of these arms that you can swing around. Microphone arms is. So for traveling, that might be handy, but otherwise I'm going to stick to the equipment that I have. And this is even like a rubberized surface here on the bottom, so that probably gives it some protection as well. Overall, I love the build quality. Guys, without drawing this out too far, let's connect this to the computer and let's jump to part 3, the sound test. Let's get going. So guys, right now you're listening to the Beyerdynamic Fox USB microphone. I just quickly connected this to my computer, and I'm speaking directly into this 24-bit recording USB microphone. And guys, what I noticed, first of all, the cable was a little bit short. So if you're using this Fox microphone with your notebook, that would be a good thing to have a short cable. But in my case, I'm connecting it to a Mac Pro, and the Mac Pro sits beside my desk. So for that, the cable was too short. So you definitely need some extension or longer cable. And maybe the thing that I did not expect, the microphone on the back has, maybe carefully raise this up, has a switch for sensitivity, low sensitivity or high sensitivity. And I had to put this definitely on high sensitivity. And even though I'm very close to the microphone, as you can see, and I have put it on high sensitivity, I'm only getting 50% of the volume. So that's a little bit odd. I would have expected the microphone to be more sensitive maybe, especially since when you look in the manual, guys, you can always go to the Beyerdynamic webpage and look in the manual. In the manual, it showed that if you have 5 centimeters of distance, meaning if you're very close to the mic, you can put the sensitivity on low. But guys, I'm very close to the mic. I'm having exactly this short distance, and I have to put it on high, because if I put it on low, it's just not, the signal is just not strong enough. And I don't think I can go 40 centimeters of distance. I mean, then I would be much further away, and I think the sound quality will not be nearly as good. So the microphone doesn't really seem to be as sensitive as I thought. I can really not, I would really love to know why that is. I mean, after all, it says it has a cardioid pickup pattern, so it should pick up the sound right in front of me. Not sure why it doesn't perform the way I expected it to perform. I mean, granted, the sound quality is still good. And if we quickly look here on the input, right now I'm recording with 24-bit and 48 Hertz instead of these other settings. So that would be normal, that would be DVD, and I think this is a little bit too high for the test right now. So overall, I think the microphone is good. I see the mute button is kind of useful. The only thing that I really have to complain is A, the USB cable is a little bit short, and 2, I would have thought it is more sensitive. Guys, I'm not sure, maybe because I have an old computer, connected it to USB 2.0, maybe that's why it's not that sensitive. I really can't tell. Maybe it's the mic, something is wrong with the mic, maybe your mic will be different. If you have that mic, please let me know in the comments below what you think about the sensitivity. Other than that, I think what we quickly going to do is we're going to compare it against another one. So let's just quickly switch the mic and then compare the Beyerdynamic Fox against a competitor. And yeah, guys, as you can see, I quickly changed the setup here with my usual preamp and the Shure SM58. Obviously, that's not a USB mic, that's a condenser mic. But the whole reason why I wanted to point this out, that this gives me a much stronger output signal right now. Obviously you can see it in the computer, but for this, what we're simply going to do is I'm quickly going to change the picture so that you can see the screen inside the computer again. And yeah, guys, like I just showed you, I still have my preamp connected to the computer, and obviously you see the signal is much stronger. And for some reason, the Beyerdynamic Fox only gives a much weaker output signal. Obviously you cannot see it here, and maybe this input level indicator is not the most precise, but in the recording software that I'm using right now, the Shure SM58 has about -10 dB with my current audio hardware setup, and the Fox, the Beyerdynamic Fox, only had -20, so it was not nearly as loud. Granted, even if the microphone is not that strong, doesn't have that strong of an output signal, you can still sometimes regulate it somewhat after the fact in your software that you're using, whether it's video editing software or podcasting software. But I think the microphone itself didn't have really like a level control. So if for some reason you cannot regulate the output volume, that might be a little bit tricky. And yeah, like I told you, the cable also was very short, so not sure what this is all about. Guys, maybe for all fairness reason, I cannot really say why this didn't work as well as I thought it would. Maybe a good idea would be I just go online, maybe order another USB mic from a different brand today, and then I'm gonna test a different USB mic in future episodes just to see whether I get the same results there, whether that has a stronger output signal. For now, this concludes the review of the Beyerdynamic Fox. Let's jump out of the computer and summarize everything one last time. So guys, this concludes the review of the Beyerdynamic Fox USB mic with the USB-C type connector. The things I pointed out to you is that A, from a poor build quality standpoint, this really gets a thumbs up. I mean, the build quality is really amazing. I like that you have the mute button, accessory is cool. I mean, just look at it. It looks so massive and real good quality. However, as I pointed out, not only is the USB-C cable here a little bit short, but this included microphone stand is also probably only usable for people who use the Beyerdynamic Fox with some kind of a notebook or something like this. So like a little bit of a mobile setup. And if you have it like that low, obviously if you sit on a desk, I found, because in my testing the microphone was not as sensitive as my standard XLR mic, the SM58 that I'm usually using. Granted, the preamp does a good job of putting out a real nice strong signal. The biggest takeaway that I really found for the Beyerdynamic Fox is that if you want to get optimal performance out of this, is the mic positioning. Simply because in the testing I had it on my desk like this, so it was not on the same height with my voice. when I talk, but it was a little bit below. And I felt if I raise this up and have the mic exactly in front of me, the diaphragm, it really improved the sound significantly. So you can already see, if you do podcasting, that is no problem. If you have the right microphone stand, you just raise it up and you have it directly in front of your voice. However, for a live streaming setup, when it's important that people see your face, or maybe you want to do a Google Hangout, an interview or something, obviously you don't want to have the microphone just right in front of your face. So then just really keep in mind that if you go for this microphone, that you may need a microphone stand where you can adjust the angle, or you have something like this, shock mount. Because you can just loosen this, put the microphone in there, and then you just tilt it a little bit, and then it's again pointed towards your voice. And I found that way the Beyerdynamic Fox really sounds the best when you point it directly towards your voice, either by raising it or by putting it on an angle. So just keep this in mind. This is obviously not included, as well as the microphone stand. This is my standard microphone stand. It's also not included. So you only get this very tiny one, which yes, you can angle, but I guess it's still going to be too low for the most part. So just keep in mind, you want to pay close attention to the mic positioning, which is kind of logical. I just didn't realize that when I was recording it, but that generally applies for every microphone. So guys, this concludes this review of the Beyerdynamic Fox. I'm excited you have learned something new. Head over to my channel page if you want, because they have lots of other useful microphone and audio interface reviews, and most people usually do a little bit of comparison before getting a new piece of gear. And that's what these tutorials are for, to give you a little bit of an orientation if you're new to podcasting or live streaming. Guys, I see you in the next video, and as a subscriber on my channel, stay awesome and have fun with your new mic. All the best to you, take care.
And because you just watched the review of the Beyerdynamic Fox USB microphone, you might also be interested in comparing it against a more budget-friendly alternative, such as this A.min USB mic, which you can also find a review on my channel for, in the audio section to be precise. And I'm truly amazed about how many people have already subscribed to my channel because of the useful content that I provide here. You can subscribe right now as well. I see you in the next video and maybe even one of my online courses. All the best to you, take care.